All right. Welcome to the Why Dad podcast. We are your host, Stopel said, and we are on a mission to figure out what it means to be a dad, why it matters, and how to become the best versions possible. And to help us on that journey, today we are welcoming Rob Unger, dad of 2 girls, husband, and a guy who's built a reputation for being brutally honest and refreshingly self-deprecating.
Oh, geez.
Rob's not afraid to own his flaws, ask the tough questions, and build real connection. He's a driving force in the Dad Good community, which we'll talk about, where over 1,000 dads gather to swap stories and support each other through the messiness of fatherhood. And this is a man who knows fatherhood isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, learning, and doing the work. Rob, welcome to Why Dad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, we're excited to have it.
Yeah, we're excited for this. And, to start us off, I want to ask, because I'm excited to hear where you take us with this. What is the most dad thing you've done today or this week?
Shoot. I carried both kids who are 9 and 11 from school to the car and was pissed off the entire time.
Yes.
They both had blisters on their heels from the shoes that they wear. And they're I think one's 65 pounds, one's 85 pounds at this point. And I've got them in both freaking arms. And it was an eighth of a mile, but it felt like 4 miles.
Oh, I bet.
Well done. Kudos to you.
Frankly, if that's the worst thing this week, I'm doing good.
Right.
Yeah.
No complaints in that department.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's like a double whammy for being a dad thing. One, because it's carrying your kids, like what dad hasn't had to carry their kids, no matter how old. And then 2, owning that you were pissed the whole way.
No, I was.
That's also very dad, hey, sometimes we do shit we don't want to do, but we do it because we love our kids.
I would argue it's almost most of the time, but it's the right thing to do, right? And that's what I always have in the kind of back of my mind. I can be a dick, I can say bad things, but as long as I'm doing the right thing in general, that's what I try to focus on, because I'm imperfect, obviously. But if I can be a somewhat decent example of getting up, doing the work, helping those around me, then that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of my standpoint, I suppose.
I like that approach. Something that we've kind of have been finding along the way as we've talked to other dads. And, in my experience with my little ones, and Andrew has nieces and nephews that live with him, is that, we can't be perfect. Aiming for perfection is setting ourselves up for failure. But by just showing up and recognizing that we can't be perfect, but we're still showing up, still putting in the work, that's probably doing more for, our little kids than pretending to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. And honestly, sometimes for me, and I mean, you know me a little bit, right? My flaws or attributes, whatever you want to call them, are actually a positive. My girls are still at an age where they want to be around me.
Right.
Because I'm funny or, still cool, I guess. So it's a double-edged sword for me. Dad said a swear word, or dad was pissed off about this, or dad made this really funny joke, or whatever it is. It's my unfiltered personality that they actually enjoy, because nobody's ever guessing what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Has that always been just your personality? And then was there a moment where it clicked to apply that into your fatherhood?
No, it has not always been my personality. I guess context, I had a divorce in 2017 after we had both kids. I had 2 different job changes during that time as well. And I kind of just thought, why am I holding stuff back?
Right.
What's the point? I've seen some shit.
Right.
Across the board, whether it's sports or fighting or whatever it is, right? I've seen stuff. So for me, and Dad Good actually ties into this, not that you guys rep them or anything, but when I started that, there were so many people that I talked to, dads that I talked to, that have gone through similar stuff.
Right.
Losing their job, depression, divorce, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm I'm just not going to hold back on this. I'm just going to say what I think because, why not?
Right.
Is somebody going to fire? Somebody going to fire me?
It's going to suck regardless. So why not just be honest about it, own up to it?
Yeah. A lot of what I do. So first of all, it's how my brain works. But what I do is I try to articulate thoughts that people are already thinking but don't know that they can talk about, especially as dads.
Right. Yeah.
So if I put stuff out there and I'm the, ass clown that does it, other people feel like they can do it. And I think that builds community and it helps people. And that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah. I really appreciate that perspective and that example. I mean, just not just from like the dad perspective, but just being a man perspective. It's, there's stereotypes for a reason, but all too often we don't want to open ourselves up that way because one, like I'm the man, like I'm supposed to have the shit figured out and I don't. And now I'm going to make myself vulnerable by talking about that. Like, no, thank you. But once there's others out there in the same situation, and like you said it so well, that opening yourself up that way really allows for community to form.
I've spoke with close to 100 dads at this point. Depression, anxiety, not knowing how to deal with a kid that's acting out, like the faith, the full spectrum.
Yeah.
Dudes are dealing with shit. Dads are dealing with shit that other dads had been through and could help them with. Yeah. And I think that's what you guys are doing, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's a lot of dads I have spoken with, and I can attest. I've seen you very active. I've only been part of the Dad Good community like a couple months, but you've been very active and reaching out to people, being there for other people. I've been on a couple of those calls where you're asking those tough questions that people may be afraid to ask, but when they're asked, people are not afraid to open up.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned depression, anxiety. Like, would you say those are the main things that come up again, or like what other themes have you seen come up again as you've talked to all these dads?
We're being completely honest on here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, relationship issues with their spouse, faith questions, which I am certainly not an expert in, dick jokes, a lot of dick jokes.
Gotta have those.
Almost too many. And I'm a dick joke guy. I don't know how to raise a kid the way you want them to be raised, but also that fits their personality. That's the stuff that and I guess a lot of unemployment stuff too. I'm in sales. I'm a recruiter. Well, I was. So I have an active knowledge of how that works too. So I talk to some folks about that as well. Okay. And this is, I mean, it's love Dad Good, but it's not just Dad Good. It's people that are on LinkedIn that are dads that see my stuff and need or want to chat. And that's, for me, that's awesome. I'll take that phone call all day. If I can help, I want to help. Because it's freaking hard. There's no other way around it. No matter, 2-year-old, 10-year-old, 18-year-old. And we've got dudes that are in their late 60s that have adult kids and they still interact because it freaking matters to them. And
yeah. So it is hard, and I think and there's no rule book, there's no handbook to like how to be a dad, and so that's why I think it's so great that people like you are doing that sort of work. Do you find it like having people come to you with like all these challenges, like basically a laundry list of issues and problems and whatever? Do you find that challenging for yourself because like you're there showing up for these other dads on top of, being a dad yourself, a family man yourself? Like, do you find it challenging to fill your cup while you're supporting all these other dads as well?
I don't. I enjoy it. I have always liked helping people. And 75% of it is stuff that I've gone through. So I can speak to it. Like there's some stuff that I just completely dude, I have no idea how to help you in this way. I can help you in XYZ way. Definitely not. with what you're going through, but I do know somebody that does. And I'm happy to make that introduction. That's kind of how I approach it. But I'm actually an introvert, but I get energy from helping people.
Has it always been that way, or like what has led you to that point of like recognizing that you want to and get fulfillment out of helping people?
It hasn't always been that way. I don't know. I think it was, divorce and alimony and shared custody and that kind of stuff, where it was like, there's got to be other dudes going through this. And that's a lot of the conversations that I've had.
Yeah.
Either they're pre-divorce or going through it or after, where I can at least provide insight. And I think it kind of stemmed from that. And then, I don't know, the stone kept rolling into other areas where people are having problems. And I'm not a counselor. I'm not anything like that. I'm a ear if you need to talk kind of guy. I was, to answer your question, I was a shithead as a kid. I actually posted about it recently. Got in fights, got cuffed, in trouble, was in the principal's office at least once a month until my senior year. It was usually my mouth, but sometimes it was fighting. So I was not always as empathetic as I am now, but that's because of the stuff that I've gone through.
Yeah, so yeah, you've gone through shit, and then is part of the drive to share and help people because you kind of lack that support when you're going through it yourself, or is it just more that you went through it and maybe you did have support through that, and because you've been in front of that, you wanted to pass that on?
I would say both. I have a great support system. I always have. My family is within 20 miles, all of them, even like the old ones. And I mean, I see them 2 or 3 times a week. I call my mom every other day. My grandma, before she passed, I did the same thing. I call my grandpa every other day. For an introvert, I like talking so damn much. I can't complain about my upbringing. I had plenty of support and help from being born till now, essentially. So it was probably when I turned 30-ish where I was like, I really think there's other people out there that could benefit from, and again, not an expert, but just my experience.
Right, you have that real life experience to share.
At the very least, fuck, I'll listen. Like I'll get on the phone and talk with you. Because there's dads out there that are in a bad place. I've seen it firsthand. And if I could be someone that helps them in that path, I'll do it.
Yeah, I love that.
Wow. How going through all of that on your, turning this more personal, going through all of that inside, how did you find the strength to keep showing up as a father to your daughters? Because I can only imagine, the amount of stress and anxiety and depression that you had to deal with going through a difficult time, and here you have 2 beautiful girls to take care of at the same time. So, how do you balance that?
I don't. I would say, a lot of that stuff is behind me now.
Right.
Not all of it, but I'm not depressed. I have a good relationship with their mom. I'm, a co-parent and do all that fun soccer bullshit.
Yep.
But I don't know, it doesn't really weigh on me because I just, Paul knows, I just keep going.
Right.
So I don't, and this is probably unhealthy and any therapist would tell you it's wrong, but I keep myself busy.
Right.
Whether it's the girls or dadgood or work or whatever, I don't think it's affected the girls negatively. Very present when I'm home. Yeah, I'm a grinder. I just keep going. And if there's something that's important to me, like my wife, my girls, whatever it is, family, I don't stop until I'm asleep, and then I wake up and do it again.
So yeah, in this journey, you said it you're in a good spot now, co-parenting, present for your girls. I imagine it wasn't that way from the start. And if so, what was the biggest challenge in navigating divorce, finding the right balance in co-parenting relationship with your ex, and what was your biggest challenge and biggest lesson from all that whole journey?
That's a good question. Not hating my ex-wife was a big hump. It was not my deal, so to speak.
Right.
So, and I actually probably, that's one thing I'm not going to talk about because it's not a good idea.
Right. No worries.
So like getting over that and figuring out some kind of like symmetry with, she's remarried, with the other side. That was tough. And honestly, I was just pissed off for a bit. Like that's and this was almost a decade ago. So it's not like really my reality anymore, but figuring out the mechanics and communication with co-parenting is freaking tough.
Yeah.
Also, watching the kids grow up, going back and forth, different households, different rules, different beliefs. Like that was hard to navigate. Biggest lesson, honestly, I would say take yourself less seriously. There would be times where I had a text lined up that was just going to light up the other side, and then I didn't do it because I was like, what's the point? Like, why would you incite more bullshit in your life?
Yeah.
Just do what you say you're going to do it with a smile and joke around a bit. That's how I approach it.
Oh man, there's so many texts that I've sent to my wife that I wish I had not sent, and it's usually because I'm taking it personal when and sometimes it's a non-issue and then I turn it into an issue. So I can relate with that.
And I would guess vice versa too. Like I got one today. I think I woke up, I slept in till 7:30 or 8, right? My wife left before then. She's an early riser. And my first text on my phone was a list of 7 things that I need to do today. And I was just like, God, that is such a shitty way to start your just a laundry list of stuff to do. It's like, God damn it.
Yep. So how many of those items have you gotten done today?
All of them.
Nice.
Yep.
Way to go, man. So, okay. So you said, and I'm sure we have listeners who have dealt or are navigating divorce and co-parenting as well. And you said finding out the logistics and finding out the right balance with the other side and all that with things. But you also said that you're now at a good spot. What helped you get from that? Okay, I got to get up this mountain and then to this point where you are now.
I mean, I think it goes back to not taking myself so seriously and understanding that other people have different viewpoints. And that's okay. I had to let go of a grudge, essentially, to be a better dad.
Right.
Because that version was not as good. I mean, not that this is pristine in any way, but it's better.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of it, like you said, to be a better dad, that's what helps us get through any difficult challenges and helps us swallow those difficult pills. Yeah. So yeah.
And I would also say, if you'll humor me,
go for it.
It's also about the partner you have, if you have one. What they do well, what they don't do well, and being cognizant of that, because it's obviously a whole family. And what I provide is not the same as what my current wife provides. They're completely different. And sometimes they mesh, but sometimes they don't. So I think that I'm fortunate for having a wife that picks up a shitload of the slack. And that's, I don't know, Paul probably saw this, but that's why I was trying to raise awareness for Mom Link, which is essentially Dad Good for moms.
Oh, okay.
And I spoke with them a couple weeks ago, the founders, and it's the same kind of thing. They're just trying to be better. And how do I do that? Have you experienced this? Have you done this? What are your thoughts? Kind of thing. And it's an open forum as well. And I think that's been helpful for me, but I've also helped people, which is what kind of builds me up.
Yeah, those are some great lessons and tips. And so shifting gears a little bit. So your girls are 8 and 9, is that right?
9 and 11.
9 and 11. 9 and 11. What would you say has been the biggest lesson that they've taught you?
Good question.
I would say the biggest thing that I've taken away from raising kids is that you don't know what's going on with them a lot of the time when they're at school. If they get bullied or hit somebody or are a bully. So when they get home or on the way home, if you don't ask them, they probably won't tell you.
Right.
So you got to ask them, communicate, and tell them, those feelings are real. Totally get it. I'm sorry that happened. XYZ. But how do we move on and fix it? And I mean, half the time my 11-year-old doesn't want to hear that because she's not trying to get a solution. She's just venting. But I ask them every day when I pick them up, how was your day? What was your best and worst?
I think that's a great, that's how I was raised. I remember my mom picking me up from school or my dad. And as soon as we got buckled up, it was, what were 3 things that were good and what went wrong today?
Yeah. Yep. I think it matters. I truly do.
Just from my perspective of growing up, like, maybe I didn't appreciate it at the time because it was like, oh, I gotta talk to mom and or dad and be open about myself. But looking back at it, I appreciate those moments so much more just because they were showing they genuinely cared, that they genuinely loved, and that, in kind of a selfish way of putting it, like I was the center of. I have 2 brothers, but just saying at that moment I was the center of their life. And they wanted to express that and be there for me.
And that's awesome. I mean, that's the way to, in my opinion, that's the way to do it. And you would be shocked what you find out when you ask questions to your kids that are not like, I mean, I had the example of best and worst, but like pointed questions.
Right.
Like, how are you actually feeling? Like, mental, emotional, whatever. Like, what's the vibe, as the youths say?
Yeah. So, and I've got so many questions. So for me, I've got a 4-year-old daughter, and like we're not getting into super deep conversations yet, right? It's mostly like calling each other poo poo head and like and sharing a highlight from the day. But it sounds like you've got a pretty good rhythm with your girls where they are opening up when you ask those questions. Is there anything that like you would recommend to me or other dads who's like earlier in the stage to do to kind of like grease those wheels, so to speak, to set up the foundation of communication? Whereas like, if I ask my daughter, like my 4-year-old, like, hey, like what, like sometimes she won't want to talk, right? So like, have you been through that, and what would you recommend to me and other dads in our stage to kind of help set up that foundation of communication?
First and foremost, at 4, I was just trying to keep them alive and fed, to be honest with you. That's how that went. As it progressed, don't be a dick, listen, even though most of the stuff at 4 they're saying is nonsensical or stupid, but just be there, because it builds rapport for when there's actual stuff later on.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I mean, your dad first, buddy second, right? But if you're not a buddy, they don't always want to talk to dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge, because if she's talking to me about, the picture she just drew, or like how she noticed the cloud going in front of the sun, whatever it is, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure. Or I'm like looking at my phone, like I'm building a habit of, or setting the precedent for her, like, oh, I don't care what she has to say. So when it comes to something that matters, she's like, when she's older, she's like, my dad doesn't listen, he doesn't care, so like, why bring it up? And whereas on the flip side, if I am listening to the seemingly unimportant stuff of like, oh yeah, like look at those ants crawling in a line, like that's pretty cool.
And 95% of it is unimportant.
But
especially at that age.
putting in those reps and setting the foundation, creating that habit will pay dividends down the road, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it has for me. If I had complaints, I'd make them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Paul knows that. Yeah,
but yeah, that's helpful.
I would just love on them.
Yeah.
No matter what, just love on them.
For someone unlike you and I, because I kind of had the similar closeness to my extended family, well, immediate family and extended family. Like you were talking about, you'd call your grandma up until the day she passed, like every other day. I was the same way. Grandma was, sorry, Paul, probably my best friend in my life too.
No, yeah, I mean, I would be mad at you if it was the other way around. She was a great lady.
But like applying to myself now, like I'm just an uncle. I've got these kids living with me 24/7. So a lot of what you guys say about fatherhood kind of directly applies into being an uncle and preparing myself to being a father. But for someone that hasn't had like that closeness or example, like how do you even start like showing up and breaking that cycle?
Are you talking specifically about like your nieces and nephews, or
Just like someone not from like a background, like a traditional family background or broken family ties, like they've never had someone show up for them, so they've never really learned like what that is like. I mean, how do you and they want to change that, they want to break that cycle. Like how do you
That's a tough one.
I like asking tough ones, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. For me, it goes back to just loving on them. I use that term endearingly, not weirdly. It's showing that you give a shit, and it's doing the work. That's what I've got 8 nieces and nephews. I think if you asked any of them, I would be their favorite.
See, that's what I'm striving for personally too.
Yeah, and it's because I'm there,
Mm.
and I talk to them, and I ask them questions, and I play games with them. I'm active, right? I don't brush them off into the corner and tell them to fuck off. I engage,
Right?
Because I care, and that, I mean, for me, was my mindset, and it worked.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered your question or not.
You did. I kind of asked a weird question, but that, I mean, it still applies, very much so.
Yeah.
You just have to make that conscious decision to actually show up and start somewhere, and by showing up.
Well, either you care or you don't care.
Yeah.
Right? And it seems like you care, right? So if you care, you show up. If you don't, you don't. There's a ton of examples of that, and not even being a dad or an uncle, but society in general.
Right.
Yeah.
If you give enough of a shit, then you'll do it.
Right.
And I think an important distinction here is, or not distinction, but an important factor here is sometimes I think we worry about like, okay, well, like what is the perfect way to show up or to care or whatever. But like to your point, like if you care, like it doesn't have to be perfect. You just do it, like just get it, just get out there, and you'll figure it out as you go along. And as you put in those reps, you'll fine tune here, you'll tweak there, you'll get better and better. But what matters is that you're there.
Right.
Yeah, and all the kiddos are different. Ours could not be more different. So I know enough how to approach my oldest versus my youngest, for sure. And they're completely different. And I learned that by showing up, running through the motions, putting the work in, and like understanding their personality and how to communicate with them.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important aspect that me, as not a dad yet, needs to keep in mind, but then just dads or parents in general, that there's not a one size fits all kids method to being that child's parent. It's Paul, your parenting towards Evie is going to be different towards your parenting towards Liam, and the sooner we can understand that and figure that out, that's it. Because especially with like just being a full-time uncle, there's 5 of them. The oldest is, I think she's 13, and the youngest is 5.
13's a scary age.
And so I quickly found out like just being an uncle is totally different to each one of the 5, because you've got a couple extreme introverts, and then 2 of them are on the spectrum, so then you have to figure out how to deal with kids on the spectrum, as opposed to the other 2 or 3 that understand the world a little bit more fully. And so it's a lot, but it's kind of it's been important to me to have that experience, to understand exactly what you said through your own parenting. It's different for each one. The personalities are different. They understand things differently.
And That reminds me of something. I think I read it recently, and I'm going to butcher it, but like the only way you figure out like how to do something is trying and effort. Like you're going to fail, you're going to mess up, you're going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, whatever. But the point is, you're there and you're doing it. And that's kind of how I approach it. It's like I'm not an expert. Gosh, I don't know shit. I'm surprised I'm on here.
How do you get through like those? I mean, you said you got to try and you got to fail. How do you, one, live that, but two, also teach your daughters, like as they're growing up, like you're gonna fail and that's okay?
For me, I had to check my ego. Like I'm not going to bat 1,000 ever in anything. For them, I talk to them about failures and accomplishments in a way where it's like there's going to be a ton of both of these for the rest of your life. I had a coach in college that said it's never as good or as bad as you think.
Ooh.
And that stuck with me.
Yeah.
So like I'm no pro, but I also don't suck ass.
Right.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, it's not showing our kids how to be perfect. It's showing our kids how to navigate life not being perfect, you know, like doing exactly all those things. So and we're running out of time here, which is unfortunate because I feel like we have so much more to talk about.
I know.
It's been a great conversation. I mean, we've talked about dadhood and showing up for dads and all the challenges that we as dads are facing and as men that we're facing. And kind of how there's so much silence surrounding those challenges and isolation. And, you know, we just need to talk about it and reach out to other people to help them talk about it. We talked about navigating divorce and co-parenting and, you know, finding balance, getting over yourself. And we talked about showing up for our kids and not being perfect. So a lot of great stuff. Before we wrap up, we are trying a new thing where it's just a few rapid fire questions. So I'll ask a couple. Oh, go ahead.
One word answers or
like 2 sentences or less. If you feel the spirit working within you and you want to divulge more, then feel free to. But yeah,
absolutely.
Like 2 to 3 sentences.
Got it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Yeah, so I'll do a couple. Andrew will do a couple, and then we'll wrap her up. Okay, so first question, and I do recognize that some of these questions are hard to answer in a brief manner, but do what you can. What does being a good dad mean to you?
Loving and taking care of your kids.
And what is the number one habit that helps you show up as a dad?
Waking up ass early before anybody else does so I can have time to myself so I'm a good version of myself.
I love that.
Same. We focus on that a lot in our
5:30 or 6. They don't get up till 7-ish.
Yep.
And I just need time to
absolutely.
Yeah. Andrew, I think next one's yours.
I got two. What advice do you have for someone like me that's not yet a dad but wants to be a dad? More
context. Are you married? Are you
No, I'm single, but let's just say something that would cover all those aspects, like a single guy dating, but these guys just know they want to be a father. And
I would say, like, you've got a lot of, this is going to be too long.
It's okay.
You've got a lot of things that you like to do, right? I would assume.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's sports or video games or TV or reading or whatever it is, pick 2 of them because the other ones are going to be gone, and that's okay because you're doing something better than that. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the ego thing. Like, you got to get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. You could have something greater.
It's not about that actually that would have been the best answer. It's not about you.
So we got there, Robs, but you're breaking down the walls of my reality now. And then the final question is, what is one thing to the listeners that you want the listeners of the Why Dad podcast to walk away from this episode with?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. Love your kids. Don't be a dick. And I mean, on the other hand, like, don't let them walk all over you.
Right.
I like the term stern but fair.
Yeah. I think Paul and I have said something firm yet soft or something like that. Firm but gentle.
Firm but gentle. Okay. Now I just got it.
Hey, you said dick jokes earlier, so.
I wasn't going to do one here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Don't be a dick. Rob, I love it. Final question. Where can people find you?
I mean, they don't have to. LinkedIn or Instagram, if they want to find me, they can find me. It's not why I did it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, love it. I know that. And I appreciate everything that you've been doing, man, at Dad Good and on LinkedIn with other dads. Definitely a great need for it. And I know I've enjoyed my conversations with you, and especially this one. So thank you for coming on the Why Dad.
Yes, very much so.
And for our listeners, be sure to like and share our episodes. And if you want to reach out to Rob, we'll share the links. And until next time, thank you, everyone.
Take care, fellas.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Rob. Thank you all.
All right. Toodles.